here are some of my favorite FND articles that are a bit more recent, and they kind of talk more about how to conceptualize FND as a complex diagnosis of rule-in symptoms, why it being a diagnosis of exclusion is not super helpful, as well as the most evidence-based treatments. This article I really like because it's just like very neatly organized, so it's just like aesthetically pleasing, but also because they have some really great summaries. They have some really good imaging finding studies. Again, we don't use imaging for diagnosis, we just use it as part of research for now, but it can inform care in the future, potentially. It also has like 3 pages worth of different positive symptoms of FND. I think everybody knows the Hoover symptom, but there are so many different types depending on your FND presentation. So anything by Dr. Fobian and her team I think is amazing. I am biased. I was trained in React and I found it incredibly helpful for a lot of my patients. It works really well. It's kind of a subtype of CBT that is targeting specifically FND symptoms. But it started kind of for non-epileptic seizures. We now use it for any sort of like abnormal movement, any abnormal tic-like behaviors, things like that as well. This 2022 article by Hallett is also really great. It gives a really wonderful summary. It also has some really great images. You might see a theme. Like, I really like articles that include good visual representations of kind of summary information. So for example, it kind of shows the way the brain and body communicate and the possible mechanisms of how FND develops and is maintained, which is most important because that's what we target in treatment. And last, this is a really great, more recent kind of summary article by this team over here. It came out in 2025, and they do a really great kind of overview. It's similar to the Hallett article, honestly, with a lot of the things, but I like how they break it down. So for example, they talk about like different things like emotion processing, and just the way it's organized is really nicely done. I did a lot of highlights. And what I also really liked is that they have pretty pictures and that they highlight discrepancies among the studies. So they do a lot of that harder work that like we sometimes might not have time to do. So if you have any other articles you really love, please let me know. I always like to read the most up-to-date literature.